The last warning, the Craven Empire had ruled the stars for over 2,000 years. Their ships were sharp, silver beasts that moved faster than light. Their soldiers were known across the galaxy as cold, cruel, and unbeatable. No planet had ever refused their commands until Earth, high above the galaxy's edge, inside the warship Dreadstorm. Admiral Vecker stood tall, his armor glowed red, and his deep black eyes looked over a giant star map. Around him were his best captains, all ready for war. A message had just arrived from Earth. Vecker's face twitched with annoyance as the message played again. To the leaders of the Craven Empire, this is Earth's final warning. Do not approach our space, do not enter our system, you have been warned. The voice was calm. To calm, one of the captains laughed. Who do they think they are? Earth is a level 2 planet. They're not even part of the Union. Another joined in. They rejected our offers 3 times. Now they send threats. Vecker raised one hand. The room went silent. He slowly walked to the screen. The human face on it was expressionless. Cold, unafraid. This is not the voice of fear, Vecker said. This is something else, still. He waved his hand. Send the 9th Fleet. I want them at the edge of the Terran system in 2 hours. We will teach Earth what happens when you threaten the Empire. The room nodded in agreement. No one questioned the order. 2 hours later, 9 Craven destroyers passed through the wormhole near Pluto. They entered Terran space quietly, with their shields up and weapons ready. And then, silence. No data came back. No signals. No ships. They were gone. Not destroyed, not broken. Gone. The wormhole flickered once, then stopped spinning. The tracking officers screamed. They reset their systems. They scanned again and again, but it was the same result. Nothing. Admiral Vecker's face hardened. Send a probe. I want to know what happened in there. A small, round scout probe launched. It disappeared into the wormhole and was expected to return in 10 minutes. It returned in 8. The room went quiet as the probe floated into the hangar. Scientists opened it carefully. Inside was its black box recorder. They played it first. There was static. Then a low humming sound, then screams, dozens of them. Alien voices crying out in panic. Pain, fear. The room froze. But then came the worst part. A voice, clear English. Cold and slow. We warned you. The room fell silent. The captains looked at each other. Some tried to laugh it off. It's just a trick, one said. A trap. Vecker didn't speak. He just stared at the black screen, his jaw tight. Then one of the engineers shouted, there's a video file. It's short. They played it. The screen showed space empty and dark. Stars twinkled in the background. But in the center was something huge, black, UNMOVING. It looked like a ship, but no model matched it. No design in the database was close. It didn't shine. It didn't pulse. It just floated like a shadow in space. Then the camera zoomed on the side of the black object. A glowing white symbol appeared for letters END. Everyone in the room stared. No one spoke. The file ended. Vecker turned to his officers. His voice was quiet but strong. Cancel all movements toward Earth. Seal the wormhole. Tell the Council Earth is not what we thought. The others nodded. But it was too late, because Earth had already seen them coming. Asterisk black box of silence. A day had passed. No signal. No crew. No trace of the 9th Fleet. Inside the Craven Council Tower, panic was growing behind closed doors. Admiral Vecker stood before the High Council. Behind him, a giant screen showed a frozen image. The unknown black ship marked with glowing letters. END. The head of the council, Grand Speaker Thoric, leaned forward, his voice low and sharp. Are you saying the entire fleet just vanished? Vecker nodded once. Yes, no battle, no damage. Just nothing, like they fell into a black hole that does not exist. Another counselor slammed his fist on the table. This is impossible. Earth is not capable of such technology. You said it yourself. They are a weak planet. Vecker didn't blink. They were. That is what we believed. Then what is this? Thoric pointed at the screen. A weapon, a ship. A warning. The room was silent. And then, the scientist who studied the probe stepped in. Her skin was pale blue and her hands trembled. I decoded the last fragments of data from the probe, she said. There's more. The screams from the fleet, some were not from Cravens. What do you mean? Vecker asked. They were human. A long pause followed. The counselor who had mocked Earth earlier now looked pale. There were humans already there, he asked quietly. She nodded. They were speaking calmly, repeating the same line over and over. She pressed a button. The room filled with sound. You crossed the line. You ignored the warning. You no longer exist. The voice was human, calm, cold. And it repeated 5 times before the file ended. A long silence followed. Then Grand Speaker Thoric whispered, what do they mean by you no longer exist? No one had an answer. Later that day, 2 Craven stealth scouts were sent to Pluto's edge. They were told to scan the wormhole and return. Their ships were covered in the Strongest cloaking fields available. Invisible to most, they were supposed to check the space then leave, simple mission. But only one ship came back, and the pilot inside was not the same. Captain Zek, a strong Craven soldier, now sat in the medbay, shaking, eyes wide open. His mouth kept moving, whispering something. When Vecker arrived to see him, he asked, "What did you see?" Zek stared forward. "It was watching us." "What was?" Zek blinked slowly. "The ship, the black one, it didn't move. But it knew we were there. I could feel it inside my head. It sent something." Vecker leaned in. "Sent what?" Zeke's eyes finally locked onto Vecker's, a vision. He grabbed Vecker's wrist hard. "They showed me our homeworld breaking apart, not attacked. Not bombed, just erased, like a shadow being pulled from sunlight, like it never existed. No memory, no trace." Vecker pulled his hand back. "That's impossible. No species has that power." Zek smiled. "They do, that night." Vecker watched the security footage from Zeke's ship. There was nothing unusual at first. Just dark space. But then, a strange blur appeared across the stars, not fast, not slow. It looked like the stars themselves were bending, like they were afraid, then cut. The footage ended mid-frame. No damage, no error, just a sudden end. The logs said the footage was never recorded, but the file existed. That made no sense. It was as if time itself skipped a heartbeat. Back at Council, some still wanted to fight. Others wanted to send peace messages. One even suggested pretending nothing happened. But Vecker knew better. This was not war. This was not diplomacy. This was something else. Something Earth had become. Or something Earth had created. Either way, they were not answering messages anymore. And that silence was not peace. It was power. The ship that shouldn't exist weeks passed. The galaxy stayed quiet. Not out of peace but fear. The Craven Empire, once bold and proud, now avoided even speaking the word Earth. But fear has a habit of spreading soon. The Galactic Trade Union sent a stealth observer, one of their best. A long-range scout drone equipped with quantum cameras and cloaking beyond detection. Its mission: scan the edges of Terran space and find answers. It never returned. But one frame of footage was broadcast automatically before the signal was lost. It showed a shadow, sharp, triangular, silent, blocking out an entire section of stars. No drive signature. No known hull shape, no radiation, just there. A single blinking symbol pulsed on its side. The trade union had a private name for it now. The Ghost of Terra. Rumors flew across the galaxy like wildfire. Some said the humans had built a living warship. Others claimed it was an AI born from Earth's secret labs, now out of control. A few whispered it was never a ship, it was a message. One final word from a species that had been mocked, pushed, ignored. Vkor didn't believe in ghosts. But he believed in patterns. So he searched. And deep in the archives of forgotten interstellar records, he found something strange. 10 years ago, Earth had proposed a peace program, a scientific coalition. They had offered knowledge, energy tech, faster drives. In return, they asked only for equal status in the Galactic Council. The proposal had been rejected. Laughed at. Earth had gone silent after that. No trade, no contact, no response. Just silence. And then came the vanishing fleets, the erased stars. The voices inside probes. Vecker now sat alone in his chamber, watching the footage of the black ship again. His eyes scanned every inch of it, every shadow. It didn't move, didn't react, yet it felt alive. Like it could see. Like it was waiting across the galaxy. Smaller systems began shutting their borders to humans even though no human had been seen in years. Others started creating Terran safe escape plans in case Earth decided to speak again, but Earth said nothing, not a single word. Until one day, on the edge of an unclaimed star system, an old mining colony picked up something strange on long-range comms. A single word, clear, human voice, * test complete. The signal ended there, but what followed made the galaxy stop breathing. Every satellite, every network, every channel across thousands of planets flashed a strange countdown. Not in numbers. In silence, just a blinking dot. Once every second, for 7 full minutes. And then it stopped. No explanation. No threat, just silence again. But those who had studied Earth's last known tech understood one thing: this was not a warning. This was a statement. Earth had tested something. And now, they waited. Not for talks, not for peace, but for someone to step forward. To challenge them again. No one did. Because somewhere out there, a ship that should not exist was still watching, still waiting. Still silent. Secrets of Project Oblivion. Far from the center of the galaxy, hidden in a forgotten archive moon called Ulysses 3, an alien historian named Rival worked alone. His skin was silver, his eyes always tired, but his mind was sharp. He studied species that vanished, those who burned too bright, too fast, but this time, He studied a species that didn't vanish. Earth. Everyone thought Earth had simply closed its doors, refused contact, cut ties. Rival knew better. He dug deeper than most, back through scraps of transmissions, rejected council reports, hidden signals sent by low-ranking diplomats, and that's when he found it, a forgotten data packet, marked UNSC-Echo- for 5. It was over 20 years old, buried in a classified pile meant to be erased. Rival cracked it open. Inside was a blueprint, not of a ship, but of a plan. Project name, Oblivion. Linked, read again, to all Earth representatives. Initiate protocol Oblivion if the galaxy rejects our terms. You know what to do, no second chances. Attached were logged short messages between humans. They called us animals again. They denied us access to the wormhole network. One council member said Earth doesn't deserve to evolve, and then, one final note, we offered peace, they offered pity, let them forget us, and when they do, we will remind them. Rival leaned back in his seat, his hands were shaking. Project Oblivion wasn't a weapon, it was a response, a plan created not out of hate, but out of rejection. Earth had begged for unity. They were mocked. So they disappeared on purpose, not to hide. To prepare. Meanwhile, Rival's discovery triggered a silent alert. Somewhere in the shadows of the network, old Earth systems still watched who accessed what. And this time, they responded. On Rival's screen, a blank message appeared, "We remember you." He jumped from his seat, the message faded, everything around him powered down, lights, systems, even the air filters. 10 seconds later, they came back online. Like nothing had happened, but his terminal was wiped. No trace of the file. No record of what he had seen. Except what was still inside his head. Rival knew he had to run. He uploaded what he could to a private channel and fled Ulyris 3, heading to the nearest broadcast relay. He wanted to warn the galaxy, but when he arrived, the station was empty. No crew. No life. The lights flickered red, and in the control room, written across every screen, "You saw too much." Back at the council, whispers about Earth were rising again. Vecker demanded answers. He demanded peace, but Earth remained silent. Because Project Oblivion had already begun, and the galaxy still had no idea what it truly meant. The missing star system. Council called it a navigation glitch, a mapping error, a simple technical mistake, but the pilots who flew near Sector 94 didn't agree. They swore a whole star system had disappeared, not destroyed, not attacked, just gone, erased like it was never there. No planets, no light, no gravity, just empty space, a void. Cold, silent, absolute. At first, no one believed it, until a trade union freighter sent a distress signal, then stopped transmitting. Mid-sentence. Rescue ships arrived hours later. They found nothing. No debris, no beacon, no heat. Only a single black box floating alone. Its data was corrupted except for the last 5 seconds of footage. A screen showing a planet green and full of life, then it flickered, the colors faded. The stars behind it vanished. And in the final frame, only static. Then a blinking. One single white dot. Council scientists examined the footage for days. They tried to trace the blinking pattern. It wasn't random. It was a location, but when they mapped the coordinates, it pointed to Earth's moon. That made no sense. Earth had gone dark for years. No signals, no ships, even the satellites orbiting it had stopped responding. No one dared go near. Until now, desperate for answers, the Council ordered an elite team of 5 ships to enter Terran orbit. No weapons, just observation. They approached quietly. First day nothing. Second day systems began to lag. By the third day 3 ships vanished without sound, the remaining to turn back immediately. One pilot, shaking, sent a single message, "It's not just a ship, it's the moon. It's watching us." Back at Council, panic returned. Some demanded war, others demanded retreat. But Vecker remained silent. Because that same morning he received a private message, not through secure channels, not through military relays, through his personal home system, a human voice, calm, familiar. "Admiral, you sent your fleets to erase us, now we erase only silence." And silence spreads. No name. No source. Just that. Vecker played it again and again. He remembered Earth's old warnings. He remembered their silence, and now he understood something no one else did. This wasn't revenge. This was design, a calculated answer. Earth wasn't destroying systems. They were removing memory. Making the galaxy forget. No record. No trace. No future for those who didn't listen. One by one, the lights were going out, not with fire, but with absence, and Earth hadn't even stepped outside its orbit. Not yet. Earth's voice returns. The council chamber had not been this full in decades. Delegates from every known system sat together, eyes wide, voices low. Fear was in the air. Thick like smoke, the map of the galaxy hovered in the center. And 22 systems were marked missing, entire sectors gone from the star charts. Not destroyed, not conquered, just deleted from memory, from scans, from existence. Like they'd never been there at all, whispers ran through the room. Ghost warships, a signal from the void, human technology, no magic, then without warning, the central lights dimmed, the galaxy map blinked, and a voice filled the chamber. Every screen, every speaker, every private headset, you asked for a reply. It was human. No name, no face. Just words, slow, cold, certain. We gave you peace, you laughed. We asked for a seat, you mocked. We warned, you ignored. Delegates stood up. Some ran, some wept, but the voice continued. Now, we do not ask, we do not warn. We simply remember. Outside the chamber, alarms started to flash. Orbit sensors picked up an object. No. A ship emerging near the capital moon. It wasn't large. It didn't glow. It didn't move fast. It just appeared, black, silent, sharp like a blade of night. Every weapon system aimed at it automatically, but nothing locked on. The systems couldn't register it. As if it was not made of matter. The only thing visible was its side. ENDA's second voice came through. Now. Softer. Female. Not threatening. Not cruel. Just final. This is not a warning. This is memory enforcement. What you forget, we will remember for you. The ship hovered. No fire. No lights. It didn't need to do anything. Its presence alone was enough. Inside the chamber, the power flickered. Half the council's data core shut down. Years of records erased. Not hacked. Not damaged. Just gone. Like the systems themselves had forgotten. Council leaders begged to send messages back. One even kneeled before the transmission. Unit, crying out, please. We want peace, but Earth had gone quiet again. The ship drifted once more, then vanished from all sensors, just like the stars behind it. And now, across the galaxy, monuments were being built not for heroes, but for memory. Because every species understood the new rule: do not approach Earth, do not speak of Earth, and above all, never forget what they became. Asterisk the day the stars held their breath, it began with stillness. No movement, no messages, no noise. Just silence, not the silence of peace, but of something waiting. In the heart of the galaxy, near the oldest station ever built, Helion prime stars began to dim, one by one. Like candles being blown out by an invisible wind, the scientists screamed that nothing was wrong. The machines worked, the data was fine, but the stars were fading. Across thousands of systems, entire populations stared at the night sky and saw darkness growing, spreading like spilled ink. Then the clock stopped, every digital system, every orbital timer, every planetary cycle frozen at the same second. Not one device failed. Time itself paused. Just for a heartbeat, and in that heartbeat, Earth returned, not through ships. Not through war, but through presence. In every major system, in every sky, a single shadow formed above the clouds. It wasn't large, it didn't move, but it was there. And they all looked the same. Black triangles, silent, glowing only with one word: END. There were no attacks. No messages. No demands. Only one moment when, across the stars, the Terran voice returned for the final time. This time, it wasn't calm. It wasn't cold. It was truth. You forgot us, you buried our name, but in silence we built what you feared most. Not ships, not weapons, we built understanding. Then came a pause, and a whisper: understanding is enough to erase anything. In that moment, across the galaxy, beings of all races felt something they had never known. Not fear, not guilt, but smallness. For once, the galaxy realized that it had never truly understood Earth. That the silence wasn't anger. It was mastery. And Earth had mastered something no empire ever dared touch: control of memory. The Craven Empire? Forgotten, the Council's ancient archives, gone. The fleets never existed. Even the stars lost their names. Galactic maps redrew themselves without permission. Whole sectors were now labeled with one word: redacted, and at the center of that redacted zone, a blue planet with no label. No tag. No name, just a void. Vecker stood alone, staring at the last image on his private screen. It was of Earth, one screen in blue. Now just blacked out. He whispered to himself, we should have listened, but there was no one left to hear him because memory had rules now, and Earth had become its keeper. The day ended with silence. No signals. No traffic. No war. Just the galaxy holding its breath and praying it would be remembered kindly.